Hi guys, I'm Wally. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'm going to give you some top tips for beginners. If you have any other top tips, pop them in the comments below. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. In the upcoming weeks, I plan to do a couple more guides and do a bit of a raid series, going from the start of Prestige 2 and maybe to add Prestige 3 before then. Catch you in the next one. Magazines and ammo. If you have two guns that take the same mag, so the M4 and the MCX are a really good example. The M4 is 5.56 by 45 and the MCX is 300 blackout rounds, but they use the same magazine. So if I fill up these magazines, they obviously go into the guns, but you can put the opposite magazines into the same guns, and in your stash you'll see they go red, but you can still equip them. It's just ensure you always have the right mag in the right gun. Let me go to the hideout and show you what that looks like. When you have your M4 and it has the correct ammo, it obviously functions just fine. And the same goes for the MCX. It's going to function as it should, right? But if we were to reload this, now I don't know which mag we're going to get. There we go. See at the bottom right, it tells you 8.56 is incompatible. You can't use this now. There's no way to use this gun now. It's not possible. So you have to reload with the correct ammo. This is a tip for, most importantly, when you're in situations in raid where you have a 300 blackout or an M4 and the other person has the opposite and the mags are the same. You could end up in a situation where you're unable to use bullets. You come around the corner for a scan, all of a sudden you're doing your third reload and your gun just doesn't work. Healing. There are multiple med items in the game. These are the most common ones you're going to come across. That doesn't include any of the painkillers or stims. These will be stopping heavy bleeds, Calloc, S-Merchant, Cat, Bandage for light bleeds, Saliwa, AFAC, the IFAC, A2 and the CAR are for general healing, but they can also stop a light and heavy bleed. But light and heavy bleeds take larger amounts of HP off. You've got your splints for fractures, single use and multi-use. Grizzly does all of these combined, taking off certain percentages. A serve kit is used for blackened limbs and stomach. You cannot fix a blackened head and thorax with a serve kit. A CMS is the same. Serve kits, however, can also heal fractures, but remember it takes the same amount of time to heal a black limb as it does to heal a fracture. When you load items onto your character, you ideally want to have something to stop a heavy bleed and some sort of healing at minimum. Later on in a wipe, Calloc and Saliwa works really well for me, maybe an AFAC, but if it's slightly earlier in wipe, you might be running some S-Merch and some cheese. You can quick pin these so that in raid, if anything has to happen, you can immediately use them. So there's two ways of doing this. The one is to go over the item and press the number you want to assign it to on your keyboard. And you see it'll come up down here. So now it's hotkeyed. The other option is to just pull it down and drag it to whichever option you need. I would advise you putting on in your settings the continuous med healing, so that if you are hurt, you just press the key once and it will continue to heal all the body parts. You can also, if you're in raid, just go into your health tab and click and drag the medication to whichever you need. So if you had to, for instance, say have a heavy bleed on your left arm, you could just click and drag that across. Or you could double tap to use in raid. Another nifty thing I've done, I can't remember where I saw it, is in my controls. If you go down to your slots all the way at the bottom, what I've done is slot 4, which will be my hotkey for me would be for heavy bleeds, is set to press. But then at slot 9, I don't use number 9 on the keyboard at all. I've also set it to 4 and set it on release. So what that does for me is I carry a heavy and a light bleed, and I can assign them both to 4. And if I have a bleed, I just press 4, and it doesn't matter whether it's a heavy bleed or a light bleed. It's immediately going to be corrected. It helps with decreasing my cognitive load when I'm fighting, and I know I only have to worry about pressing 4 and 5. Those are the only things. When healing, the use time is quite relevant. So what I've done is I've arranged the stuff according to use time instead of class. These all take 2 seconds to use, complete the animation. These all take 3 seconds to use and complete the animation. These take 5 seconds to use and complete the animation. This takes 16 seconds to use and complete the animation, and this takes 20 seconds to use and complete the animation. Where this becomes important for me is if you're in a gunfight and you want to heal quickly, something like a grizzly is maybe not ideal because it's going to take you 5 seconds to stop that heavy bleeding, where something like a Kalok is going to stop the same heavy bleed in 3 seconds. If you want to fix a fracture, this is going to take 5 seconds. A serve kit is going to take 20 seconds. This splint is going to take 3 seconds. So it may be wise to pick certain items for certain situations. Secure container. When I go into raid, early wipe, this is more or less what my container looks like, with my variables swapping out. If I don't have an injector case, I may put an APAC in there. If I don't have a sick case, I may use my docs case. If I don't have a docs case, it may be a key tool of some kind, but this is generally my early wipe to mid wipe setup. In my kappa container, I tend to run a sick case, a docs case, 2 injector cases. It's always easy to have one that's full and one you can load in. A golden star or some sort of pain med, a splint, and a CMS kit. I think it's quite important for me to have a sick case and a docs case, an injector case that are basically empty, so any map that I go into, I'm able to grab all the stuff that fits into those, take it, and if I was to die, I'm able to sell it and make my money back from insurance and kit. I can put that in my sick case, I can put that in my injector's case, and if I run over to the safe, I've got a flash drive and a diary, and now these items won't go anywhere, and if I die, I've at least got something to walk out of the raid with. Learning maps. If you're looking to learn maps, there's 2 easy ways of going about it. First is you can take your scav and you can just go in anywhere you need to that you're learning. I suggest pick one map, start and learn that map. If you take up the wiki, which I will put in the description down below, you can find the maps with guides to all of them. Lab is not available as a scav. The other way you can do that is if you take your PMC and you put some kit on. I'm just going to go over to factory. When you get to this screen, you can enable practice mode, and when you're in this, you can change the game settings. So you can make a co-op if you want to play with your friends. You can choose the amount of AI. So I'm going to say as many as I want. I'm going to say low, and you can make the difficulty as you want. Let's make it as online. Notes and tasks. If you're ever in your trader screen, you go to therapist and you're trying to buy something and you just can't buy it, and you know, I have the money, why can't I buy it? Ensure this box is ticked. So this is autofill the requirements for the purchase. So it automatically selects what's needed to buy the item, and you can buy the item. Another nifty little thing that you have is if you go into your character, you go into tasks, you'll see on the right hand side of your screen is your task items. So if you were to pick up something in raid and bring it out, it would be here in your tasks bar before you hand it in. You hand it in, it's done. If you're going into another raid, you can move it into your stash to hold on to it and hand it in later. The other thing this has is it has a notes tab, and what it does is you can add a note. So let's say, I don't know, I need to kill 5 scavs and I need bulbs. I need 5 bulbs. I can save that note, and this note then becomes available in raid. So I've made my note, I've now loaded into raid, and I should be able to see my note in raid. If I go tasks, that would be the items I was talking about if you were to bring them back into raid. But there's the note, so there it is. And I can edit it as I go. So if I was to find a bulb, I could change it. Might be useful if you're looking for a ton of stuff It is better now since you can favorite items. So you can take items and you can add it to your wish list. So stuff for your hideout. So let's go task item. So you can see that's now a task item. That's an equipment item that you've tagged yourself. That's a hideout item. Any other random item. And a barter item. The hideout items will show up for you automatically if you acquire them for hideout. However, if you have enough items to complete that one thing, so if you need 5 bulbs and you have 5 bulbs but you're missing a wires, the 5 bulbs will still show up like this, showing that you need them. Walking and crouching. When you're in raid, there is a couple of things you can do which is quite nice. You can obviously crouch and stand, but if you hold C and you scroll on your mouse wheel, you can change your height. So if you look on the little character model, the height changes as you go. You can do the same for your walking speed. So you have normal walking speed, you have sprint, but when you're walking normally, you can scroll your mouse wheel. I'm going all the way down, and you slow walk. One of the benefits of slow walking is it's quite a bit quieter. Obviously, you end up in a position where you can't get away quickly if you need to, but you can, if need be, if you're slow walking, just hit caps lock and you go back to regular pace. So if you want to go from full speed walking to crab walking, you just hit caps lock. If you're crouched and you choose to slow walk, you're really quiet. Just remember, if you're trying to be quiet and you're sneaking up and you're trying not to make any noise, if you turn quickly, you might make a shuffle noise, and you can hear that ADS sound. Fighting scavs. When it comes to fighting scavs, they can be quite dangerous, especially shotgun scavs. A buckshot scav can be quite dangerous. If they shoot at you, just break line of sight with them and they don't see you. So if you're fighting a scav, just break line of sight with them. They tend to move in the direction you came from, but he doesn't shoot me immediately now. Just listen to where he's going. So he's in front of us. There's a scav behind us now somewhere. Just keep breaking contact with him. There's a lot of scavs there now. Break a bit of contact. And here one just outside here. Try not to peek the same angle too many times. And don't forget to use that left lean in those situations. One of the only downfalls with it is if you come out swinging and you try and aim, sometimes, see if I can, it does that. Especially after, it looks like it happens mostly after a sprint. And you have a split second of trying to just get your bearing. So just try break contact between you and them and peek them from cover. Looting and more. It's always worth looting your scavs, their pockets and their backpacks, because they can spawn with anything, and they have started looting in this last wipe, so your likelihood of finding anything is in them. If you need food or hydration, the easiest place would be to find it on a scav, unless you're knowing of a point near you that has food or hydration. So you've now killed your scavs, but you're bleeding. Suggest healing, staying away from other scavs. Most importantly, prioritizing your heavy bleed and your light bleed to stop that health loss. Kill Mr. Scav over here. Close all your doors around you if you want to loot and you're not fully healed up. What you can also do is while you're searching, if you double click on your health, you could be healing and searching at the same time. What that does is, if you're in the healing animation, because obviously I've got it to heal all, it's going to heal everything until it can't anymore. You can reload instantaneously while in a healing animation. You can do the same thing with drinks. So let's say I want to drink some water, I've got the wrong mag in, I can install instantaneously. I might as well drop that one. So you can use all of these items by double pressing while searching your scavs, or your PMCs for that matter. What you can do is right click, you can install a mag, you can search. As you can see, I've installed the wrong mag, exactly what I told you not to do earlier, and change the mag. While it's searching, what you can also do is refill ammo. So if we go over to this scav over here, is you can refill ammo while you're searching, so you can multitask. I hope some of these tips were helpful, and if you've made it to the end, thank you so much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day.